Good evening, Mr. Rahul, and welcome to the show. First of all, I would like to ask you, Margdarshak Financial Services is driven by the objective of facilitating equitable access to capital resources. What was the idea behind setting up MFSL?
If you look at the past 20 years of the Indian economy, you would see that the economy is growing at a very fast pace. But at the same time, a vast section of the communities are getting left behind in that economic growth. And the primary reason for them getting left out of that economic growth is that they don't have access to resources which will enable them in being active participants in this economic growth. The philosophy behind Margdarshak is basically we facilitate the access to these kind of resources. We enable their capacities to access these resources so that they can be active participants in the economic growth of the country, and in the long run basically there is equitable distribution of the income and the wealth within the economy.
Please tell us about the financial products and other offerings of MFSL.
We are working as a NBFC microfinance institution. This is a separate category of NBFCs that the Reserve Bank has formed, and we are governed by Reserve Bank. All our products basically align with the requirements of the poor communities, and we give them loans ranging from 5,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees, which they primarily use for their income generation and business related activities, also partial investments in livestock, animal husbandry and agri-allied activities. That is where our money is primarily used for. The unique feature in our services is that we give loans only to women, and we don't give individual loans. We give them to give the loans to them as a collective. And so they have to form a group. The group goes through some basic training on financial discipline, on credit discipline. We verify their credentials, we verify their credit history, we verify their residential status, we verify their business status. Once all these things are verified, we give them loans between 5,000 to 30,000 rupees. And the repayments are taken on a monthly basis, on a fortnightly basis, and they can repay the loans ranging from 12 months to 24 months. The borrowers and the groups from where we get good credit discipline, primarily three factors. One, we see the proof of money being used in the business. We see the proof of income from the business being used for the welfare of the family and the children. And we see proof of growth of business and the required credit discipline being maintained by the borrower. They graduate with us to somebody who's borrowed 10,000 rupees for the first time gets 15,000 the next time, then 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, and gradually they go up to 45,000 rupees. So that's the scope of the products that we provide to them. In addition to them, we also enable them in opening their savings accounts with public sector banks, saving money with the public sector banks. That is how a full bouquet of products and services is delivered to them.
Now I would like to ask you, what are the major milestones achieved by the company from its inception in 2007?
We started our company from a friend's office on a borrowed table. The initial 3 years of the company were spent in a rented premises for which we paid 2,500 rupees rent. From there, we've graduated to an infrastructure which is our own. The key milestones for us have been on various fronts. One has been reaching out to 2.5 lakh families, managing a portfolio of around 300 crores, establishing linkages with more than 30 banks and NBFCs, onboarding something like 800 employees in the organization, and managing to retain about 90% of them over a period of last 10 years. Where we stand today is primarily a result of the continuous efforts of our team in working towards a common vision and mission of enabling equitable distribution of income in the community.
Which are the states where you are operational?
We work in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Uttarakhand, Haryana, Himachal. These are the 5 states in which we work. Within this, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar hold something like 80% of our business. And the reason for them, for us working so deeply in these 2 states is because these are the 2 states which need financial services and have been ignored over past decades in the financial infrastructure. So financial inclusion, if it has to succeed in the country, it has to succeed in these 2 states first before we can actually move on and say that India is a country where everybody is financially included, where everybody has achieved financial freedom and they have access to a vast bouquet of financial products and services. So until unless these 2 states do not come up to those standards, it will be difficult for the country to move ahead, excluding any achievement in these 2 states.
Please share some success stories of your clients and community initiatives with us.
Personally, for me, each of our client is a success story. So if you ask, we have something like 4 lakh success stories. Like there is a client who's been with us for last 7 years here in Lucknow only. The first time that she borrowed 3,000 rupees from us, and she was doing a business of soft toys. And gradually over the years, she has graduated to borrowing something like 30,000 rupees in tranches from us, and her business, which she used to do on her own, she now employs around 5 people in her own business, and she sends soft toys to Bombay, Delhi, Jaipur. You know, it's a joy to see these kind of women growing. Another story that reminds me and that has actually touched me very deeply is of our borrower who started off as a client with us and then joined us as an employee. Average boy who works with us, who's a graduate and who works with us as a field officer, he manages something like 600 to 700 loans. This lady on her own manages double that load. She manages 2 children, and then she helps her brother-in-law in managing a tea stall that she started with the help of Margdarshak loan. So there are several success stories like this. For us, it will not matter a lot, but for them, it establishes a source of income on which they'll earn for their lifetime. They'll be able to give qualitative education to their children, they'll be able to give qualitative health care to their children, and thus contribute to the overall economy of that region.
Margdarshak is also providing training, education, skill development and livelihood employment opportunities to women and youth. Please also tell us about that.
So for us, we believe that, credit alone is not sufficient for poverty eradication. You have to create other opportunities for them also, so that they can meaningfully engage themselves for enhancing their lifestyle. Skill development basically enables the youth in taking short-term courses from us and then getting gainfully employed. So we train them in banking and financial services, and then they go on and work for multinational institutions, banks, private sector banks, public sector banks as permanent employees. So, skill development is done with the objective of that. The livelihood is primarily split into two parts. We do farm sector livelihood development, where we work with a large segment of farmers. We help them in identifying what are the kind of crops they should be cultivating, the right kind of varieties of crops that they should be cultivating, get technical assistance from institutions which are involved in agriculture research, get input supplies in bulk from fertilizer companies, seed companies and all those things, and then also help them in storage, warehousing and accessing the markets in a aggregated manner. So, this helps the farmers in not only reducing their damage and doing the cultivation in a much more scientific manner, but also once they buy input supplies in an aggregated manner, or once they go to the market in an aggregated manner, they enjoy large scale cost advantages. So, and that brings down their costs of cultivation and increases their income from harvesting and selling the produce in the market. So, we work with a large set of farmers in that. And then India, is a country of artisans. Every nook and corner that you go of the country, you will find an artisan. You find them in bangle work, glass work, hand paintings, brassware, carpets, bangle making, woodwork, whatnot. So, this is a country of artisans. The challenge these artisans face is basically they are not in touch with the market. They don't know what designs will work, what are the new market demands, how they can bring the costs of production down. So, we do skill development for them. We do design workshops. We get interns and professionals from international design institutions, not only in India but from abroad also. So, these people come, they work with artisans for 2-3 months, help them in learning new designs, diversifying their product range, understanding the requirements of the market, making new products as per the requirements of the market, and ultimately gelling with the market in the medium to long run. We help these artisans in selling their products on Amazon and Flipkart, undergoing certifications, undergoing trainings, product catalogs and all those things, and then they are able to widen their market for themselves. So, going forward, we believe that financial inclusion supported with skill development, livelihoods, market access, supporting infrastructure creation in the rural markets and rural economy is something that will enhance the absorption of the financial services in the long run, and that is the intention for Margdarshak being engaged in all these things.
Now tell us about the MFSL partners and your collaborations with financial institutes.
Two institutions who have been instrumental, they've invested in the organization. One is Opportunity International Australia through its Indian subsidiary of Diya Vikas, and they have made equity investment in the organization when we had just started off way back in 2011 and 12, and SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India, which has not only given us equity infusion but also given us term loans on a very regular basis. Margdarshak today works with something like 30 plus financial institutions. This includes around 14-15 public sector banks, including banks like State Bank of India, the Dena Bank, then Syndicate Bank, UCO Bank, IDBI Bank, Yes Bank, DCB. So, these are there. Then we work with something like 14-15 NBFCs who have given us term loans at various points of time.
Led by an able set of board and management, Margdarshak Financial Services has enabled over 2.5 lakh families in establishing and diversifying business for achieving economic strengthening.
Microfinance in Margdarshak gives me the opportunity to work closely with the community. A lot of women in Lucknow and Barabanki, they do chicken and weaving work. We realized that their earning from these works is very low. When we decided to provide them training and improve the quality of work they do. As of now, we've done training of more than 500 artisans. It has helped them to increase their earning and to improve their quality of work.
Margdarshak core team has a vast experience in banking operations and microfinance, which helps the organization to develop relevant policies, processes, and mechanism for comprehensive growth. MFSL has been graded by highest rating by Samera, which signifies high capacity to manage its operations in a sustainable manner and good performance of code of conduct dimensions.